this is Kanoh versus Lolong, and you're taking Lolong, right? Did dude? If you're talking, I cannot hear you, bro. Hello. Oh my fucking god.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you. Okay.
Hello,
Yeah, I can hear you.
hello. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, perfect. So this is again like this is Kanoh versus Lolong, and you're taking Lolong, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Go to text to VC, and I just posted my scaling. Just let me know what you have contentions with.
Can I form this Lucian? Blue, they, leave, Lolong. Okay, so first of all, alright, let's just go through this. So why is Kanoh like massively over formless Lucian?
What was that?
Why is Kanoh like massively over Lucian?
Oh, you could just disregard like the massively above. It's just like above. I can retype
Alright.
it out if you want.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah,
Okay.
why is he above?
Why is Kano above formless Lucian? Because he beat him badly.
Isn't that 'cause he
Like he just
started
he
late?
just whooped his ass. You want me to show you that? You want me to show you Kano whooping Lucian's ass?
Yeah, sure. The way I remember it is because he was like going insane or something.
I mean, didn't you just read the fight?
Yeah, I did, but I can't.
So you
Let me
should
get it back
remember.
up.
Well, hold on. You should remember how he bodied him. Like he
Yeah, I
bodied him
know.
so.
I
Well,
think he
well,
was.
hold on. Time out. Well, let me just finish. He bodied him so
Yeah,
hard that Lucian had to use removal in order to like compensate for that. You do realize that, right? So Kano should scale above Lucian using formless. Look,
can I see scans of that?
sure. And then like I see some scan right there, and then like right after that scan, he goes into formless. And this is like it's also
Oh, is
accompanied by
this base
some
Lucian? Or
base Lucian.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like base Lucian and formless.
Yeah.
Also, he should also what's his face? Kano also should scale Lolong. Just Lucian while in removal, but it's still relevant to my scaling. Doesn't matter.
Okay, so can I overform like base Lucian? I'm fine with.
Sure. And you're fine with formless Lucian scaling above Wu Wong Fist Lucian, right?
Um, is that his like? Yeah, that's his martial arts one, right?
Yeah, his Chinese martial arts.
Well,
Are you fine with that?
I'm not sure if he scales above, but I think it's like a better ability. Yeah.
Well, would you agree when I say that Lucian using formless is stronger than Lucian using Wu Wong Fist? Yes or no? Because that's what I'm arguing.
I think he can be like not like physically stronger, but he can be stronger as a fighter. Yeah.
Yeah, overall stronger, sure. And
Yeah.
then
Okay.
you have any contentions with like that version of Lucian scaling to like Fei and Liu Dongcheng?
Yeah. Why would he scale to them? Say.
To who? Oh, Fei. I'm talking about Tai Chi Fei when he's using like his Chinese martial arts. So this is all like the fighters in purgatory when they're like in base. You know what I mean? Like just standard purgatory fighters when they're not like in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Like outside of this tournament, Lu Tian is just a regular Chinese martial artist, right?
Yeah.
Fei only uses Tai Chi outside of this, like in regular purgatory fights.
Yeah. Isn't that like the Toad one or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah. So
So
why was maybe relative?
yeah. So let me show you a panel. I actually don't have this scan, so give me a second. Yeah, it should be in the Lu Zhongchen fight. Like 2 seconds. Like 109. Let me see. 112 maybe. Okay, so I'm in the fight. I think he came before this. Let's see. Also, this supports my argument. This isn't like a shotgun, but you are aware that these three are known as like the three demon fists, right?
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, just want you to acknowledge that. Like they're in the same category.
But
Um,
they have the same title, yeah.
let me see. For some reason, this fucking it loads more when I'm going backwards than when I'm going forward. It's so odd.
What was that manga? Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Oh my god, this is unbearable. Don't tell me I skipped, bro. Oh my god. Just give me like 2 seconds. 110. Okay. Oh, perfect. So this is the specific term that I'm talking about. Let's see. We see that Lolong and Faye are talking about like power skating wise, and then we see Liu. No, we see Faye talking about like the recent the previous record that they had between like Lu Tian, Faye himself, and like Liu Dongcheng. And what he states is that like Liu and I have a record of 1 win and 1 loss against each other. I've never fought Lu Tian before, but Liu's lost to him once, and that was because Liu lost control and went out of bounds or whatever. And then what's his face Lowline just continues like with the power scaling conversation. So essentially, they should all be relative based on this panel alone.
Okay, so but what they're relative because they like win against each other and stuff.
Yeah, win and lose against each other essentially.
Sure, okay, and then are you using the thing when he gets pumped up? He's like relative to Lolong or something like that.
Uh, somewhat, but I just want you to acknowledge this, and like,
Yeah,
if
I
like
think
you
they
have
can
any
be.
contention.
Yeah, I think they can all be like relative in their like normal non-worm kind of
Okay,
state.
and then let me show you the panel that comes after that. It's just like this is Lolong saying verbatim that like Liu Dongcheng is like can go toe to toe with him. And like the only reason why he can't go toe to toe with him is because of his mood swings. So yeah. So
Okay,
what like the way I interpret it is that like Liu Dongcheng is like low relative to Lolong based on Lolong's own admission.
so I think what Lolong's saying here is that it's a pity because he has this talent, but he doesn't like use it properly.
He what?
So what's his name? Lee? Yeah, he has this talent to like be relative with Lolong, but he doesn't use it.
He doesn't use it properly. No, that wouldn't be the case because it's based on the mood swings. It's based on his
Yeah,
mood
mood
swings.
swing.
Yeah. So he can use it properly. It's just the only thing that hinders him is his mood swings. So his abilities are irrelevant to like the mood swings. Like his like how do I put it? His abilities are not dependent on like the mood swings. Wait, does that even make sense? How do I say it? Like
I
it's
don't
two
know.
separate things. Like it's two separate things, but then they clash, and that's what makes Liu Dongcheng like weaker. You know what I mean? But like in terms of natural abilities, he should be on par with Lolong based on what Lolong says.
In natural. Yeah, okay, sure. But then wouldn't isn't that just presupposing that when he fights the other guys, he's in like a proper state of mind?
I mean, we already agreed that they're all relative.
But yeah, but we didn't like agree on the conditions in which they're relative.
I mean, you should have established that.
Well, I'm establishing it now, right? So they can be relative to each other, but his mood swings mean he's like relative to them, but without them, he's like relative to Lolong.
But they're like they're relative to each other. I don't know what to tell you. They're just relative.
Yeah, no,
How do
I
I
can
put it
agree
this way? How
that
do
it
I
can
put
be
it this way?
relative
Okay, that's fine.
usually.
That's fine. So I'll just say, um, I really don't know what to tell you. They should be relative. So what you're arguing is that we can't, like, we just don't know if Liu Dongchen was in peak or not.
What? Yeah, we don't know his like mental state when he was fighting Faye. What's his name? Lucian.
His mental state. Okay. Um. Yeah, that wouldn't really matter. I think he would just get relative to him because, what like the fact that Faye even mentions it just means that, like, if we're talking about power scaling, and the fact that Liu Dongcheng is like had this mood swing or whatever against Liu Tian and lost because of it, just the fact that he mentioned it means that the feat itself is worthy of being mentioned in, like, in a conversation about power scaling, if you get what I'm saying. So if the feat would be completely irrelevant, then Faye would not have mentioned it. However, he still brings up the fact that Liu Tian does scale to this version of, like, Liu Dongcheng.
Can you just repeat that? So you're saying he's like, so in the
Like,
beginning of
like,
the
like
fight, he would be like relative to Lolong, right? So when
what
he's
I'm
in like a
saying,
fight,
like, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah. So just like let me try and clarify what you're saying. If it's not what you're saying, just tell me what you actually are saying. So you're saying when he goes against Lu Tian, he'd be in like his proper mental state. But then later on in the fight, he could get pissed, and that's why he loses. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, if we look into, like, the context of it, that could be, like, it seems like the most likely possibility. Because if you read what Faye says, it says, quote unquote, and that was because Liu lost control and went out of bounds. So it's like he had control, but then he lost it mid fight and then went out of bounds because of it.
Okay, so if he was in control, then why would they be relative?
Because it's still, because the feat itself is still worth mentioning. Because Faye still talks about it. And, like,
But
this
if
is a conversation
what's
about
his
power
name was
scaling.
yeah, if Liu was in like control of the fight, why would Lu Tian scale to him?
What was that?
So if Liu was in control of the fight with Lu Tian, why would Lu Tian then scale to him?
Again, it's because, like, just the fact that Faye mentioned it means that it is relevant scaling. And the fact that the author wrote it in just supports my interpretation even more. So think of it this way: if Liu Tian fought against Liu Dongcheng, and for some reason Liu Dongcheng slipped off a banana peel or whatever, and he lost, Faye would just not mention this feat because it would not be relevant at all for power scaling. But
Well,
yet
no,
he
I think
still
what he's
mentions it.
saying is to like hype up Liu here, right? Because this is after. Is this after or before the Lu Tian fight
What do
with
you mean
Kanoh?
hype up Liu Dongcheng?
So he's trying to hype him up. He's saying, "Oh yeah, he's like better
Why?
than Lu Tian."
Why?
What
Why?
that's what he's saying, right? So he's
But
saying,
why?
oh, Liu was in control of Lu Tian, but then he lost like his mental state.
No, but why? Why would he be trying to hype up Liu? What's the purpose?
I don't know. They're just talking about how good he is.
Yeah, they're talking about power scaling, but why would he be trying to actively hype up Liu? It just makes no sense. It feels more like they're having an honest
Well,
conversation about
when
Liu's
I say
power
hype up,
scaling.
I don't mean like Faye hyping him up. I mean like the author writing it. I think Faye is like saying what he saw in the fight, but like just the author
Well,
is saying
exactly.
to hype up Liu.
He's okay. So he's saying what he saw in the fight. Thank you. So whatever he saw in the fight, he deems it worthy enough to be mentioned in a conversation about power scaling.
Yeah, okay. He mentions that Liu is like better than Lu Tian.
That's not what he says.
He says because Liu.
He said what he's saying, the way to interpret it is that, like, they're just relative. It just so happened that Liu Dongcheng lost because of that.
Well, no, he's making it
And
seem like the only reason he lost was because he lost control,
no,
making it
no,
sound that he was in control.
no, but he also mentions that Liu just straight up beat him. That, like, I've never fought Liu Tian before, but Liu's lost to him once. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I know.
If Liu Tian won in such a bullshit way, then it would just not be mentioned. However, Faye still mentions it. So this feat about, like, Liu Tian beating Liu Dongcheng is still relevant when it comes to power scaling.
Right. So you're saying just him mentioning it can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Lolong has like no contention with it. He just goes on with it and even like just supports what he's saying, what Faye is saying. So this is just the narrative, just putting all three of them relative to each other. And you also acknowledge the fact that the three of them are like in the same group, which is the three demon fists.
Yeah. Okay. But you just want to conclude on that.
Well, I mean, do you agree that Lu Tian is like relative to Liu Dongcheng or no?
If you take into account his like mood swings, yeah.
Taking into account his mood swings. So you're saying, that like, because I don't really see how the mood swings play a part to it. I think Lu
Well,
Tian
we
could still
agreed
be
they were
on par.
relative because of the like loss record, right? That's why we
Say that
agreed they
again.
were relative.
Say that again.
We agreed they would be like relative because of the win-loss record.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that like win-loss record, obviously, we don't know what happened in that, right? So it's like
we do know.
very possible. Liu.
We,
How
we
do we
do
know?
based on what Faye said, that they had a fight. Lu Tian beating him is still relevant when it comes to power scaling. And it just so happens that Liu Dongcheng lost because they went out of bounds. That's what happened.
What?
And
No,
you,
I don't
and
think
you,
he's saying that as a relevant feat. I think he's saying, oh yeah, so he did beat Liu, but that was only
okay,
because of
okay, that
self-control.
makes
I don't
no
think he's
sense. Why would, if they're
establishing that
talking
distinction.
about power scaling, if they're talking about power scaling, why would they be talking about irrelevant feats, dude? You're not making
I don't
sense.
think we're talking about. I don't think we're talking about power scaling. We're just talking about like how they stack up against each other.
That's power scaling verbatim.
Yeah, I know, but there's other
Power
things that
scaling.
come into
Okay,
that, like
Vid,
his
listen to
mood
yourself.
swings.
Vid, listen to yourself. Power scaling is comparing characters to other characters. That's literally what Fei is doing. He's comparing himself to Lu Tian to Liu Dongcheng. He's power scaling.
He's comparing them all together, right? But the
Is it
only
power
reason
scaling?
it's
Yes or
like it's
no? Is it power scaling? Yes or no?
well, I don't think I'd call it power scaling. That seems a bit weird to
You
like
you said
compare.
you said he wasn't power scaling. Is he power scaling? Yes or no? Let's just move on from this. Is he power scaling? Yes or no?
Well, I don't really think it matters what it's called what he's doing.
Okay, it
I think
doesn't
he is
matter. Okay, it doesn't
comparing them.
matter.
Yeah,
Thank you. Okay, thank you. So Faye is power scaling, right? And he's mentioning feats that are relevant to power scaling. He mentions this feat about Lu Tian beating Liu Dongcheng in a conversation about power scaling. You're saying it's irrelevant.
yeah,
That
and
makes
then he
no
goes
fucking
on to
sense.
say that the only reason he won is because Liu lost control, and then Lolong, who's like the king of purgatory, right? So he should be stronger than everyone there. It's like yeah, but yeah, the only reason he's relative to you guys is because of his mood swings.
No, that's cap. So you said that the only
Or
reason
are
why
you
Liu
disagreeing that
Dongcheng.
he's
Well,
a? Are you
let me
disagreeing
just
that he's
finish
the
what I'm
king of
saying. You don't even
purgatory?
know what I'm gonna disagree with. You don't even. That's not even what the fuck I was gonna talk about, dude. Stop interrupting me.
Right,
So as I was
right,
saying,
go on, go on.
you said that Liu Dongcheng only lost because of his mood swings, but that's not what Faye says. All Faye says is that Liu's lost to him once. Liu lost to Lu Tian,
That was because
and
he
then he
lost
says,
control and
"Stop
went out of
talking,
bounds.
stop
Yeah.
fucking talking, vid, stop talking." Right? He says, and that was because Liu lost control and went out of bounds. That doesn't mean that they cannot be relative.
Okay, they
Lucian,
can be relative,
Lucian,
but you need more evidence for that.
bid. For the love of God, please just let me make my fucking argument. Because you're trying to precog shit and you're not precogging anything, all right? You
No,
thought I
I'm
was
just
going to
trying
talk
to
about
address
Lola?
what you say as you're talking
Okay,
about it.
okay, okay. You can do that after I'm finished, bid. Stop being retarded.
All right,
So,
fine. Go on.
again, so he says Lucian beats him. And then he says, and that was because Liu lost control and went out of bounds. That doesn't mean that they cannot be relative. Because let
Okay,
me
they
bring up
can
an
be relative.
example. Vid,
Let me
vid,
talk. Let me
vid,
talk. Let
vid.
me talk. Let me talk.
If you
So they
interrupt,
can be relative because of this,
vid,
but you need
vid, for the
more like evidence for it.
vid. I'm not gonna address what you're saying. I'm not gonna address what you're saying. I'm not gonna address what you're saying.
Why
If you
though?
interrupt me
Because
one more
you're like
time,
trying to
if
bring up
vid,
another point here.
vid. If you interrupt me one more time, I'm just gonna take a concession because this is bullshit. I'm not
That
gonna deal with
that's
this.
not how it
I'm not
works.
here. I'm not here to babysit you. Just let me make my fucking argument. All right. I'm not gonna shotgun you. This is all just one line of reasoning. Okay. You
All right,
understand?
go on.
Okay.
Say your
Thank
whole
you.
thing.
Thank you. So him saying that Liu Dongcheng lost because of this way doesn't refute the fact that they can be relative. Okay. That's not a defeated to the argument. One example would be, let's say, under the hypothetical that Kano and Gowling in round 2 were relative. And then later on down the line, Gowling slips on a banana peel and just gets knocked out. And then someone later on recalls the fight and says, "Oh yeah, Kano beat Gowling," and that was because Gowling slipped on a banana peel. Just because Gowling slipped on a banana peel doesn't mean that they cannot be relative.
Okay, yeah.
That's literally
So
the
what
case
you're
here.
saying is they
Vid,
can
I'm
be
not
relative.
fucking finished. I'm not
You're done with
fucking
your
finished.
argument.
Vid, no, I'm not. Vid,
Right,
I'm
what are you
not.
adding on
I'm
to it then?
literally not. I'm literally not fucking done.
Okay, finish then.
I'm in the middle of a sentence and you interrupt me and you're saying that I'm done. Stop being retarded, okay? Like I
Right,
don't know why
finish.
the fuck you're doing it. So let me
You're
finish
taking
then.
like 5
Let me
minutes to make
finish. Let
one
me
argument.
finish.
Just hurry up.
Vid. Let me fucking finish, okay? You're not gonna beat me. Just chill out. You're not gonna beat me in this stupid game, all right? So you heard my argument. I lost my fucking train of thought, bro. Just stop talking. Just give me a second to like get it back. Oh my god, this is so bad. Okay, you just lost to the nose. Okay, yeah. So even in this instance, I think I argued why him losing out of bounds doesn't refute the fact that they can be relative. And then yeah, it just all goes back to like the fact that Lu Tian should be relative to Liu Dongcheng because if they're talking about power scaling, then it's still relevant for you. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, you were done when I started talking last time.
Go.
Okay, so yeah, so what you just said, so it doesn't refute the fact that they can be relative. Yeah, sure, but you need to provide extra evidence for it, right? Because I'm saying
No, I
this
don't.
evidence wouldn't be sufficient because we don't know how he won, right? So, oh, sorry, we don't know how the fight was going out before that. We only know that Liu Tian lost. Or sorry, yeah, sorry, no, Liu lost because he went out of like control, right? We actually don't know what happened in the fight, and we don't know whether they are relative. And this scaling is just massively contradictory with like Lolong being strongest man in purgatory. Doesn't
No, that's a
really make
different
sense
arg. Hold on, that's
logically.
shocking. That's
Okay,
shocking. That's shocking. That's
all right.
shocking. Because you're
I'm
trying to
just saying
refute one thing.
why
Hold
it
on, hold
wouldn't
on, hold
work.
on. Okay, that's fine, but that's a different argument. So I
Okay,
already
sure.
addressed literally everything that you said. I think we just go. I think we can just go to conclusions because you just didn't address what the fuck I said at all.
Okay, I think I did then. You can go first.
Okay. You said that we don't know how the fight would go. That is literally fucking irrelevant. Because you acknowledge, just so we're clear, you acknowledge that Faye saw the fight, right? Or some shit. That Faye would have knowledge on the fight.
Well, yeah, I think it'd be what.
Yeah,
I don't think I agreed to
so
that.
you sound so fucking retarded because you're saying that we don't know how the fight went, but we're getting the perspective of someone who saw the fight, and we both agree that Faye saw the fight. So if Faye saw the fight, he saw what Lu Tian has done against Liu Dongcheng. He in the conversation about power scaling, he still brings up the fact that Lu Tian beat Liu Dongcheng.
Well,
And
I
then you
don't
try to
know if he
refute
actually did.
Vid. I'm in my
Like,
conclusion.
okay, but you just asked
I'm
me
in
a
my
question.
conclusion.
Okay, but you just asked me a question, and I didn't agree
Okay,
to
you
something you
answered the
said.
question. You answered the question. Now let me move on to my conclusion. Can I go on with my conclusion, Vid?
Okay, sure, but that's just an
Right.
extra
Thanks,
argument in the
retard.
conclusion.
Stop talking in conclusions. So as I was saying, you try to refute it via the fact that Liu lost control. I argued that him losing control mid fight doesn't refute the fact that they could be relative. You really had no defeater to that argument. You didn't even address it. You said some bullshit about like we don't know about the fight, but then again, we don't have to because when it comes to power scaling, Faye still brings this shit up, so it's still relevant. Go.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to say that was an extra argument in the conclusion. We don't actually know if Faye saw the fight, so his argument about it's from Faye's perspective just doesn't work. He was trying to say that Faye just bringing up that Lu Tian, beat Liu Chen or whatever his name is, would mean that they were relative. I said that we don't actually know what happened in the fight, and it's like emphasized by Faye later on that the reason he lost is because he went out of control. So I don't think you can establish relativity between Liu Tian and Liu, or
Okay,
sorry, Liu Tian and a
vid.
full power Liu.
Okay, vid. Just to address your argument about like your conclusion, what defeater did you provide for me saying that they can still be relative?
Yeah, they
Even though,
can still be
even though,
relative, but
okay,
why?
so
You haven't
you're just
explained why.
contradicting yourself. You just
No,
conceded.
that's not a contradiction. They
Conceded. You
can
just
still be
conceded.
relative, but you haven't given any evidence for that.
My evidence was the fact that Faye still mentions it, retard.
Yeah,
Is that
that
not
doesn't
evidence?
work as an
Is that not
argument.
evidence? Is that not
No, that's
evidence?
evidence that he beats him, not evidence that they're relative. You're trying to say it doesn't mean they can't be relative. I don't have to do that. You have to show why they are relative.
I
I don't
did
have to show
show
why they
him
aren't.
my whole argument is the fucking statement itself. The fact that Faye even brings it up in a conversation about power scaling is evidence enough. That's what I argued.
Okay,
So I'm
we
not
already went
so I'm
through that.
not vid
That's
vid vid.
fine.
So I'm not assuming hold on, vid, I'm not assuming shit. All of my arguments have been backed up and I argued them.
Well,
I'm
no,
not assuming anything.
I mean, I've already said like the problem with what you just said, so we can just move on.
Okay, sure. So let's go into the hypothetical that I won the point. So these three goons should be relative. Do you have any contention with Lolong scaling to like lower relative to no that do you have any contention with Liu Dongcheng scaling lower relative to Lolong, yes or no?
Um, well, uh, I have a problem with all three of them scaling for Lolong. Yeah,
I'm not saying scaling to, I'm just saying that like lower relative.
yeah, I have a problem with them like being near Lolong. Yeah.
Okay. So I sent a panel of Lolong himself saying that like Liu Dongcheng can go toe to toe with them. So what's your contention with that?
Well, yeah, but I'll just go back to a previous point where I said that would be like a full power future.
Wait, say that again.
I would just go back to the previous point where I said that would be a full powered Li Chen.
And you're saying that it would be a full powered Liu Dongcheng?
Yeah.
Prove that.
Well, when I mean full power, I mean like good mental state. I mean like
Okay,
not
prove
freaking
that.
out.
Prove what?
Do you,
Not freaking out?
this is literally what we're talking about, right? We're talking about, oh, he could be this good if he didn't like have his mood swings.
Okay, thank you. So that just means that we're talking about like a base Liu Dongcheng. So that's fine. That's perfect for my
What do
scaling.
you mean base? He doesn't have like a form.
He goes into like a peak. Like he gets better as the fight goes along. But we already agreed that it's like just like in a good mental state, which is
Why is
what I
that
was
better?
arguing anyways.
Why does he get better? Why is that not what he already can do? He's just relaxing.
Because that's just how he is. But it's irrelevant anyways.
Okay,
It's irrelevant to
so
my
yeah,
argument anyways. So yeah.
all right.
So
So
it's like
yeah,
it's like Liu Dongcheng in a good mental state. So um so what again is your contention with like this version of like Liu Dongcheng scaling to Lolong?
I didn't have a contention with this version. I just had a contention with like all three of them, like in their normal forms, not like a peak Liu Chen.
Well, I mean, this is under the hypothetical that all three of them scale to each other.
Yeah, I know, and I have a problem with all three of them scaling to Lolong, which is essentially what you're trying to do.
No, because what I had argued is that like this version of Liu Dongcheng, who was like in a good mental state, scales to them. That was my scaling. And then
Yeah, I know, and I'm saying I
we're
have a
going under the
problem with that.
hypothetical. We're going under the hypothetical that all three of them scale to each other, dude.
Why are we going under that hypothetical? Well, that's just a hypothetical
Because
that
we
he
didn't
won.
get
I'll be
judgment
going
on
under the
it.
hypo. Yeah,
We
I know,
didn't
and
get
I'm gonna
judgment
go
on
under
it.
the hypothetical that I won.
We can do that after. We can do that
Or
after.
we could just do it at the same time.
That's fucking retarded.
But if you think you
Going
won
under
that one,
two,
you can go say what
why
you want to.
vid vid why would we go under two contradictory hypotheticals at the same time?
Because we haven't got judgment about it.
We can bro, we can go one hypothetical and then go into the other hypothetical, because if I beat you in both hypotheticals, then we wouldn't need judgment. Or if you beat me in both hypotheticals where you put your scalars, where you put your character scaling above mine, then we don't need judgment. That's the reason why we go under hypotheticals regardless. To go under two contradictory hypotheticals is just retarded. Because then we just be arguing the previous point.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So we both go under the assumption that we won the previous point. If you want to add anything to that, then you
Okay,
can.
yeah, but we can't do it at the same time. That's retarded.
Yes, we can.
No, we can't. And we like you literally just showed the problem with that. I said we're going into the hypothetical of this, and you're saying, "Oh, well, we can't because we didn't get judgment on it." Well, then how the fuck are we gonna progress?
What do
It
you,
makes more.
we
It
can
makes
just
more.
move past the
It makes
point.
okay.
We
Let me
don't
finish. Let
need
me
to
finish. Let me
like
finish.
wait on it
Let me,
forever.
let me finish. That's why we're continuing off. We're going off. We don't have to wait for a judgment. If we
Yes,
continue with a hypothetical.
so if you
Hold on,
think you
hold on,
won
hold on.
it, you can go to
Can I
the next
finish? Can
point.
I
I don't
finish?
have
Can I
to like
finish? Can I
assume
finish?
you
Can I
won.
finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish?
Yes, but you're just gonna repeat
The
yourself, so I
reason
don't see
why,
what the
the
point
reason
is.
why, the reason why, the reason why people go into hypotheticals is because they can't get a current judgment. So there's two hypotheticals now. Whether or
No,
not
if
you
you go
dumb
into a
chance go
current
through these
judgment,
three,
you just
Vid,
both go on the
Vid, Vid,
assumption that
why do
you've
you do
won.
this? Vid, why do you do this, Vid? Why do you do this, Vid?
I'm just
Why do you
saying
do
you're
this?
wrong.
Why do you interrupt me while I'm mid sentence?
Because
Like
you're
what?
wrong.
Do you think? How the fuck am I wrong? How can you even tell me I'm wrong before I even finish my fucking statement?
Well, 'cause
Just
I
stop
heard what
talking.
you said.
Just stop fucking talking. Just stop fucking talking, okay? Because every time you talk, you're just not progressing the fucking debate, okay? You're stalling it out because then I have to tell you to stop fucking talking and to explain why you're such a
Well,
retard.
you're the one stalling
So
out the
stop
debate by
talking.
going onto
You're
this
doing it
weird
again.
like
You're doing
point
it
about
again.
that
You're
we
doing it
have
again.
to
You're
like
doing it
go under the
again. You're
assumption
doing
that
it
you
again.
won. We can
Okay,
just move
Vid, I'm
on to the
trying to
next point,
explain to you.
Villain. We can move
Vid.
on to
I'm
the next point
trying to
right
explain
now
it
and
to you.
save so much time.
For the love of God, I'm trying to explain to you why it makes sense, and you're interrupting me, Vid. You just don't know shit. And on top of not knowing shit, you don't let me explain it to you. Okay? So you're just being retarded and you're acting retarded on top of that. So I'm not gonna explain myself again. Let me just ask you. Do you understand the purpose of arguing on the hypotheticals, yes or no?
Yeah.
Right. So what's the problem with it?
So the problem is that we've already done the point. There's no reason to stay on it. We can just move on.
Okay. You do realize that we're not arguing a previous point, right?
Yes. No, exactly. You were bringing up the previous point by saying, "Oh yeah, under this hypothetical, it doesn't matter if it
That's
will
not
just get
bringing up a
judged
new
either
point,
way."
retard. That's not bringing up a new point, retard. I'm not
Okay, no,
arguing
and
that.
that's why I said, why are we going under the assumption
Did,
that you
did,
won? You can, I don't have to. That's the entire reason I said that.
did. If you want, did. Again, I'm gonna mention this again because I don't think you retarded as heard it the first time. There are two hypotheticals. We can argue mine first, and then we can argue yours second. I had
Yeah,
no
okay, and that's
problem
just
with that.
wasting time. Just so you're
How
wasting
is that
time with this
wasting
extra
time,
point.
dude? Like I had mentioned again, because obviously you didn't listen. If I beat you in both hypothetical situations, then we wouldn't need judgment. If you beat me in mine, then it would be the same result. You would win the debate.
Okay,
If you
I
have
think
some scaling,
we're literally agreeing here. Okay, we can go under that hypothetical, right? I just
stop
don't have to
talking.
agree that you won the last
China,
point. We can
China,
go through the
China. Do you have
hypothetical.
perms? China, do you have perms? Someone mute this faggot, bro.
He's not gonna. He's literally not
I
gonna
just
meet
can't
me.
with this fool, bro. I just can't with this fool. I just can't with this fool. He
We
just
can move on
doesn't know
right now,
fucking.
Villain.
He just
We can
doesn't
move
fucking
on
know.
right now.
Pink fairy, and ask him about fucking hypotheticals. Because what you're saying is just completely
No, we
retarded.
can literally ask everyone we
Pink
see, guys.
fairy,
Do you want
pink
us to
fairy,
move on or not?
pink fairy, pink fairy, pink fairy. Look, let me tell him right now.
Okay, you can. Let's see, Chinaman and Godly.
What are you guys talking about?
Okay, so that was godly, right? So godly.
Yeah.
Let's say we argue one thing, right? And then we don't get a judgment on it. It would be fine to argue a hypothetical where I won or
Yeah,
you
you're
won.
right. So Vid, if we're say Saints is on his scaling, right? And then his point is contingent, like his conclusion is contingent upon like him arguing two different things. If you argue one thing and you don't get a judgment on it, so you don't know if you broke the scale or not, it'd be fine for him to like, um, it's like, oh, he left. Well, it's okay. Vid, did you hear that?
Yeah. No, I was agreeing
Yeah,
to that.
so
I
it'd
was just
be
saying,
cool if
yeah.
like he argues under like the axiom that he won that.
Yeah, no. So let me just tell you what I was saying. I was saying because he said, "Oh right, we're going under the hypothetical I won." My only problem was that I don't have to go under the hypothetical. I can still find to talk about the point, right? So even if I lost,
Okay,
you know,
Vid, if you think you won and you want to go under that hypothetical, I think you guys like it'd just be better to like move on then.
yeah.
Like you just wouldn't need to attack the other point because you think you already won the first one. But if you do like want to have reassurance, then you can attack the second one.
Mhm.
Okay, sure. So Vid, what you're saying is that you don't even need to address my argument.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No, my only
What?
problem was that my only problem was the language you used. Right, you're saying, "All right, we're going under the hypothetical I won." Sure, yeah, we can be like going through your scaling if you won, but that's not me assuming that you won as well, right?
Yeah, no. He's gonna continue arguing under the hypothetical he won. You're just
Yeah,
arguing
exactly. Yeah,
against his
that's why I
argument.
said
So
we were talking about the
This
same
this
thing. I was
this
just
man
yeah,
Vid
so it's
is
understanding
not a
the
so
language.
concession. So it's not you
yeah.
conceding
It's
that
not a
he won the
concession.
point. It's just moving under the hypothetical. Like so at the just to progress the debate. Like
Yeah,
so
Exactly.
exactly.
It's like
That is
literally
why I said
it's
we're
for the
talking about the
purpose.
same
It's
thing,
for
but
the
then you wouldn't
purpose.
listen because you
Vid,
just kept
Vid, you're
talking
so
yeah,
like
just
a
like
retarded.
bitch.
Vid,
just stop
you're so
arguing. Just
retarded.
continue back
He's
like to the
he's so
argument.
fucking
Just he
retarded.
can move
Like
under the hypothetical he won, and you could just like attack his argument.
okay, so it's so fucking stupid, bro. So if all three scale to each other, I don't have to argue that shit anymore because we're going into the hypothetical that I won. Again, just gonna repeat the fucking scaling. I sent a scan of these two goons scaling to each other, of like Liu Dongchen scaling low relative to Lolong. What is your contention with it?
I said he can scale if you take in the mental
Okay,
form of
thank
the
you. So
scan.
now we can go under your hypothetical where these three goons don't scale. So based on what's established already, um this is the scaling that's established already. So how does Lolong scale with Kanoh?
Would you agree Lolong's above Ryan?
No, show me that.
Okay.
This motherfucker's so retarded, bro. Literally, if you just like listen to me speak, you would understand what I was saying. Also, thank you,
I
Godly.
understood
I
what
think
you
I
were saying.
stopped. I'm not talking to you again. Thank you, Godly. I think you explained it nicely. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah. Also, let me just screenshot what Fairy said, bro. Look at this shit, bro. You look so stupid. You look so stupid.
I did say we're
He
talking
wasn't
about the
disagreeing
exact
with you. He
same
wasn't
thing.
disagreeing with you.
This
You're
is
like you
retarded.
guys are
Okay, I
just
don't know why you're
continue.
being such a bitch about it, man.
There's no need to like continue arguing. You guys are good.
This is retarded.
Like you guys just like kind of strawmanned each other. Like he wasn't saying he wasn't fine with moving under like your hypothetical. He was just like saying, "Do you mean like he would have to like abide by it?"
Yeah,
I
You know.
told him. I
exactly.
told him since the beginning. I told him since the
All right,
beginning
I've
that
sent
it's
the
not like
scan. I've
Just
sent the scan.
continue
I've
though.
sent the
Just
scan. Just
continue though.
shut
There's no
up
point of
and look at
arguing
the
this.
scan, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, just continue the debate. There's no point in arguing something that's already like settled.
Sure. Okay, so let me see. This Roland is exceptionally strong. I don't know if Ryan can beat him. You mean he's stronger than Ryan? I can't say for sure who would win. So what this means is that although Roland is like better at cleaner at executing techniques, she still doesn't know that. She still wouldn't know who would win between like Ryan or Roland. So that just means that they're relative to me.
Um, am I fine with relative? Yeah, I guess I'm fine with relative. And you know that Ryan stated on par with Kanoh.
Show me that.
Cool.
Wait, wouldn't that just be arguing that Khan would no longer relative?
Sure.
Is that your intent?
Yeah.
So
And then I think
how the
Lolong
fuck
has
does
better
Lolong
like
scale above Kano?
pre-initiative. It's fine if they're relative. I think Lolong just has better like pre-initiative and stuff.
In stats? Like relative in stats?
Yeah, if you're fine with that.
That's not what, but that's not what you're arguing. because on the panel it says they're talking about like techniques as well. So which is like the way to interpret it is like they're talking about overall fighters. And then if we're talking about what Lolong said about Ryan, it's like he's on par with the Fang. So how the fuck would that be in reference to only stats?
I never said it was in reference to only stats.
You said that Lolong scales to Kano in stats, that they're relative in stats. That's what you said verbatim.
No, I didn't say that at all. No.
Okay. Godly Chinaman, can you guys vouch? That's what the fuck he said. Because I asked him, oh, okay, they would be relative. And then he said, how the fuck would you put Lolong above Kano? And he said like some pre-initiative shit. I'm like, okay, like what? Like I was confused. And he said like, oh, they're relative in stats. That's what he said.
Oh, if you talk about that, well, it's alright. Alright, if I did say that, I'll retract mine. Just say I'm fine with them being relative.
Man,
Like
this
equals.
motherfucker's backtracking, bro. Oh my god. So
Alright,
so prove
well, that's
that so
probably
prove
just
that these statements are only in reference to like fucking stats. Start with the scan that you sent.
I don't think it really matters about stats. Because Lolong's whole thing is that he's like just really good with like things and stuff. He doesn't need stats.
So you're dropping your own argument then.
That's not dropping the argument.
You're saying that Kano scales too long against stats. I'm asking you to prove that. Then you're saying, oh, well, it doesn't really matter because that's not really what Lolong's fighting style is. So what the fuck are you arguing?
Sorry. So let me clarify, right? So you know how he like one shots Toa, right?
One shots Toa with I don't show me that. What are you talking about? You mean the one
You know
panel?
exactly what I'm talking about.
You mean the one panel where it shows him punching Toa?
Yeah, and he gets knocked
Why is
out.
that a
Yeah,
one shot?
because the next finalist him knocked out.
Say that again.
Because the next panel is him knocked out.
The next panel is Toa knocked out?
Pretty sure. Let me check.
No, you're wrong. That's not what the fuck happens. I'll send the panels for you. This is a waste of time. I thought you were good
No,
at this.
sorry, yeah, it just says Lolong's a winner. So I'm saying like even though he's outclassed in stats, right, his like techniques and stuff can still like scale him to that level.
What level?
To like people who are like above him in stats level, like Toa.
Wait, what puts him relative to people above in stats?
Just like the way he fights, right? He's an ultimate all
The way
rounder.
he
I'm pretty
fights,
sure that.
ultimate
Yeah.
all rounder. Why can't that apply to Kano?
What do you mean? Why?
Because you're saying that Lolong makes up for these gaps with like techniques and shit. Why the fuck can't Kano do the same?
Well, can you show me Kanoh doing the same?
I'm asking you. It's not my burden.
What you're are you trying to assert something or no?
No, I'm not asserting anything. I'm asking you a
Alright,
question.
then why are we talking about it?
What? I'm calling into question your argument. I'm saying if you're putting this as like a feat above Kano, why the fuck can't Kano do the
I'm
same
not
thing?
using this as wait, what I never said it's a feat above Kanoh, right? All I'm saying here is that
You're
like
using it as justification to put Rolong above Kano, aren't you?
no, I'm just using this as justification that he can like fight people who have better stats than him.
Does it put him above Kano, yes or no?
Well, that would just go back to what I was saying earlier.
Yes or no?
So this specific scan doesn't do that, no.
Okay, so then just
This
drop it then.
specific scan says something else. No, you're just not understanding, but that's fine.
If this scan is irrelevant to putting Rolong above Kano, then wouldn't you say it's irrelevant?
It's not irrelevant to putting him above,
Why
but it's
not?
not proving that he's above. I already explained why. Like, if you don't want to listen, I don't have to repeat if I don't want to.
Yeah, this is retarded. So we can just address the first thing again, since this is all just one long argument. So what? Correct me if I'm wrong. So what you're saying is that Rolong is relative to Ryan. We agree on that in terms of
Yeah.
what overall,
Overall,
right? And you said that Ryan would scale to Kano in terms of what overall.
yeah, overall.
Okay,
It just says he's on par with him, so yeah, but might imply overall.
so Lolong scales to Kano overall.
Yeah.
Weird. So then They're relative then to stalemate.
No, but
With no
no,
scaling for Kanoh. It's
no, because I
overall.
think his
You're
technique.
retarded. It's
I
overall.
I agree that overall, but just because it's like overall they're relative, right, doesn't mean they can't win against each other.
They're even. They're
Yeah, do
overall.
you think people who are even against each other can't win against each other?
So what scaling puts? Okay, so I could just say the same shit. So Kanoh's relative, he can still win against Lolong.
Yeah, okay, and then so now just to talk about
What the
techniques.
fuck? Are you stupid as shit, bro? No, it doesn't matter. This technique shit doesn't matter. They overall scale to each other. So if you're saying that, oh, they
Yeah, I
can be
agree.
overall
Overall, they
Lolong,
scale to
Vid,
each other,
stop
right? But do you
talking.
think
Vid,
people
stop
who
talking.
overall
Vid,
scale
stop
to each
talking
other
because
can't win
you just
against each other?
you just said you just said you retarded shit. So let me just put it in front of your face. You said that Roland being relative to Kano means that Roland can still beat him. Okay, thank you. So under that premise, Kano can still beat Roland. So you under your hypothetical, you still don't have any scaling for Roland scaling above Kano. At most, you scale them relative to each other. We can just conclude the fucking debate here. Because under your
Okay, yeah, but
hypothetical, you still don't fucking win. Under my hypothetical, then yeah,
well, you
we can
haven't
start
let me
concession.
explain fully. But yeah,
You gave your premise. I put your premise right in front of you.
okay. So my premise is that they scale overall to each other, right? So like overall as fighters, they can be relative. But I don't think as fighters just being overall like as good as someone else is fighting would mean you would like draw against them. I don't know why you'd assume that.
Okay, say that again.
Just being comparable as fighters doesn't mean you draw against each other. That's stupid.
You're what against each other?
Just being like comparable to someone as a fighter doesn't mean you draw against each other.
You'd draw against each other? That's not what I said.
Yeah, you did. You just said it's a stalemate. What do you think stalemate means?
No, that's fine. But what I'm saying, because obviously I know that two people who are equal can beat each other. You mentioned that, and I agreed with that. So that's like, I guess that's a concession on the previous point, saying that there's stalemated. But even then, even if we go under the hypothetical that you won that point, which we really don't have to, since I kind of conceded on that. If two people are fighting and they're overall relative to each other, one of them can still beat them. That's fine. So if
Yeah,
you're saying
and
that,
then I was going to elaborate why.
Stop doing this. Let me
Okay, go
explain
on.
why you just lost. So you said that two people are relative, one can still beat each other. I completely agree with that. You're saying that like I agree with this premise. So under this premise, Kano being relative to Lolong means that Kano can also beat Lolong. They can both beat each other, which means that there
They
is no
can beat each
scaling.
other,
Which means
right?
that there is
And then
no
I was going
scaling.
to
Okay.
elaborate on why it's
Oh
more
my
likely
fucking
for
god,
Lolong to
bro.
win. What do you
Oh
not
my
understand
god.
about that?
That would just be higher relative or lower relative. That's
No,
not
it
what you
wouldn't be. I'm just
arguing.
explaining why Lolong has better techniques than Kanoh.
That's irrelevant because overall they scale to each other. So even
And
if
then that just goes
Lolong,
back. You just agreed that it
stop
doesn't have
talking.
to be a draw.
Stop talking. It doesn't matter if Lolong has better techniques. Kano would just compensate via something else to still
Okay, so
make
if you
them
don't
both.
think you have to address it, then you just don't have to address it. Okay.
Bro, China man, godly, bro. Like, I don't know what the fuck to do, bro. I can't even put out a single fucking sentence without this retard interrupting me. Right?
I'm
You should
agreeing. If you don't think you
you
have to
should dox
address
him.
it,
Dox
I
him,
should
Dylan.
what?
Dox him.
Dox him?
Dox him.
Oh my
Yeah.
fucking god. I don't know.
No, seriously.
This man is annoying as shit, bro. This man is annoying as shit, bro. Can't even say a fucking argument. So, godly China, I guess I'm just gonna refer to you guys since I can't fucking talk to Vid. Like, as spectators, right? He's saying that two people are relative, they can still beat each other. I agreed with that premise. That would mean that under this premise alone, Kano can beat Lolong and Lolong can beat Kano. If we're
yeah.
taking
Okay,
this
so
one,
can you let me finish my argument?
if we're
Yeah, no.
taking this into account, if we're taking this into account, that means that Roland has no skating above Kano. He keeps bringing up this bullshit about, oh, Roland has better techniques. That's
I'm
fine.
not saying he has
That's
scaling above Kanoh. I'm just saying he has better techniques
hey,
than
thank
him.
you. That's a concession. Thank you. So he has no skating above Kano.
That's not.
We can end it. We can end it here. We can
How's
end
that a
it here.
concession?
You said he has no
Alright, if
scaling
you
above
think, alright,
Kanoh.
if you think to address, I'm about to say, just don't address it and be quiet, okay?
I mean, you
Alright,
just conceded. We don't have to continue anymore.
well, that's not a concession.
You stated verbatim that
Alright, if
Lolong
you
has no
think it's
scaling
a
above Kanoh.
concession, you can just let me finish.
Okay, we can just
Okay,
stop the
so
recording here. To be honest,
what? No, there's
go finish
why
your
would you
shit
stop
argument.
Okay, sure.
Finish your argument
So
after proceeding. Go ahead.
Lolong has better pre-initiative, meaning he would be able to out-predict him, meaning he'd win.
Okay, was that it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's irrelevant. Based on what he already argued and
I
agreed
thought
upon, we agreed.
I,
We agree. Stop
I thought
talking.
you
Stop
already
talking.
won. I thought you weren't going to address this, villain. I thought you already won the last point.
Stop talking. Vid, stop talking. Okay. So, like I was saying, that would be irrelevant. I already addressed this. So, Lolong can have better techniques, better pre-initiative. That's irrelevant. Lolong is still relative to him. So that would mean that Kano could compensate via some other means. It could be like physically wise. He could be like
Prove that.
faster than. No, I don't have to
Mm,
prove that
okay.
because we already agreed that they're relative regardless.
Okay, I already said just
So
being
so
relative
so
as fighters
so, so let
doesn't
me so
mean
let
you
me so let
draw.
me. I'm not arguing that they would draw, retard. I'm arguing that they're relative. I already
Yes,
dropped that shit
I
about
agree
them.
they're relative. I don't know what you're like on about.
If you would let me finish, you would know what the fuck I'm on about, retard. Are you gonna
Okay,
let
so
me
no,
finish?
I know what you're trying to say.
What am I trying to say? Explain it.
Okay, so what you're trying to say is that like Kanoh, so the overall like relative. So if Lolong has better technique, then that means like Kanoh would have better stats, right? That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, that could be a possibility.
Okay, sure. So then I already said that like better pre-initiative would help him win. You fine with that?
I
Because if
think it's
Kanoh just
irrelevant.
can't hit him,
I think it's irrelevant because
all
Kano,
right. Well, if Kanoh just can't hit him,
even though
then no,
vid,
whatever.
you sound so retarded right now. So let me finish. So Lolong can have pre-initiative. That's fine. That would mean that Kano, via some other means, finds a way to scale Lolong. It could be stats. It could be technique-wise. It doesn't matter. So Lolong scaling, just being better at pre-initiative, means that Kano just like some other means of scaling to him. And it's not
Yeah,
it's not
I
a
don't
burden.
think that means he'd like draw against.
It's not something that I have to prove because we already agree that they're overall relative. And again, my opponent just straight up says that he just has no scaling for rolling above Kano, and he said that verbatim, and it's in the recording. Well, I don't even have to give a conclusion because I slammed the fuck out of you.
Alright, sure. Then I'll
Okay.
just conclude the whole
How do
debate.
how do we end the recording?
What
Is
am I
it
concluding?
it's not stop?
Well,
Is
no,
it stop? Oh.
no,
No,
it's
it's
save.
save. It's
No,
save.
it's save. It's
Dave?
save.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Yeah. Okay. Before.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Right. So first of all, we went over his scaling, right? So we said, let me just find the
Well,
text that we